Namaskaram girls. So we started the lesson number 9, Age of Revolution. So we started the introduction of the American War of Independence, how the American people, how the colonies have entered into the America, that and all we saw in the last session of this class. Correct girls? So the British imposed tax, Townshend Act and all they have noticed, and the sugarcane plantation, the laborers worked under the British control. So increasing incidence of taxation, slave labor, we have saw in the last session. So in this one, the same tax only, they imposed on the tea. They imposed a tax on every commodities and particularly the tea. In many places, the colonies have they impose tax on the imported tea. So they used to import means the country which buys from the other country. So they started in the tea taxation in the tea. So this heading is a Boston Tea Party. So they taken the tea in the ships and transported to the America. While traveling to America in the Charlestown, what they have done, because they imposed a tax on the tea, what they have done, they didn't use the tea at all. So without using that, unloaded the tea in the dock. Dock means that is godown, like that we will say, no girls. So they have kept, but they didn't use. The same tea which was used in the New York and Philadelphia, they carry the tea and they blocked. Okay, they didn't send to the other places. Particularly in the Boston port is a port. They threw all the tea bag that is load into the sea. So they threw the tree on the sea. These all done by the Native Americans. So the cargo which was overthrown in the place Boston. So it is called as a Boston Tea Party. This becomes a challenge before the crowd they have done. So this was the rebellion between the colonies and the England. Okay, so this is about the Boston Tea Party. Next, American War of Independence in 1774, that is the fought between the colonies and the England. During the time, George Washington, that is he was a man, belongs to the North America independence, and he was become a commander-in-chief for the colonies, and he became the first president of India. So first president of India, America. So the colonies want to have a fight for the independence. They don't have intention to have independence, but they want to get the rectification for the trade and the tax. So what he said in the British Parliament is no taxation without representation. That is the main motive of the Americans. Okay, this is about the American War of Independence. In this one, they have concluded in 1774, the colonies and the England have a fight. In First Continental Congress, in this one, the Boston Tea Party, which was happened in the Boston, the British government has appointed a Governor General of Gage of Massachusetts. What they have done means they want to dispatch the troops in the Boston, and they have to do the intolerable acts. That is, they have broke out the laws for the Britain. In May 1774, in the Virginia Assembly, Thomas Jefferson was declared the independence on 1st June 1774 as a fasting. Fasting means without have the food. That is fasting prayers. So they have Thomas, with the help of the Thomas Jefferson, they had on the June 1st, 1774. That in response to that, the colonial governor dissolved the assembly. So thereafter, many members drafted a resolution in the Continental Congress on September 5, 1774. First Continental Congress met in Philadelphia. The Congress agreed to vote the representatives of colonies and endorsed. So whatever the resolution they have taken, null and void. Null and void means not worked. Okay. So the Congress adopted the Declaration of American Rights. Second Continental Congress. The Second Continental Congress met on 10th May 1775 at the same place, Philadelphia. John Adams, Sam Adams, Richard Henry Lee and Thomas Jefferson, these are the members in the Second Continental Congress. So they gathered the army around the Boston, the Continental Army, and placed under the command of George Washington. So the Congress dispatched the olive branch petition to the king and adopted the declaration of. So as the war progressed, the Continental Congress assumed the function of government. In July 1775, they appointed a commission to negotiate with the Native Americans. So they set up a postal department which was headed by the Benjamin Franklin. So as a postmaster general, a committee was formed to explore the foreign aid. So through the postal, they might have get the aid. Aid means money. Okay, that is the one which was headed by the Benjamin Franklin. Then Battle of Bunker Hill. This was fought on the 17th June 1775. The major battle which was fought in the Massachusetts. 2,200 British troops was there. So when they attempt the third, they got victory and with a heavy casualty of nearly 1,000 soldiers. After the battle, Washington assumed the control of the American forces. So the British forces retrieved from the Boston. So British forces, they have taken out from the Boston. Next, Declaration of Independence in January 1776. The pamphlet which was written as a Common Sense, which was published by the Common Sense. This was authored by the Thomas Paine. Thomas Paine, he has shifted to the America to England while he was taken the position, and he gave a call for the complete independence. So George Washington takes the power on June 7, 1776. They had taken a resolution for independence which was adopted by the Thomas Jefferson. 10,000 copies of the pamphlet which was circulated around the country. So June 7, 1776, they had Henry Lee of Virginia had taken the resolution. So at last, July 4, 1776, this day is declared as a War of Independence. So the war, British was on 2nd July, it was fought on the 2nd July 1776 under the British control of the General Howe. They have lost the Washington. They want to regain the Washington. They are waiting. The British army was waiting. But American army, they went to the Pennsylvania. So General Howe, he was waiting in the New York for the winter to pass. So during that time, the winter was there. So they want to wait for the winter so that Washington make attack on Christmas night at Trenton. So the British force defeated in the war. Okay, this is about the war. Next, French alliance. French alliance, they had attempts. British had attempts. The colonies was divided over the Philadelphia. So the Philadelphia was spoiled by the Cornwallis. Cornwallis is a British Governor General. I'll say detail about him. So when they have defeated Saratoga, the British defeated at Saratoga, this paved the alliance for the France and the America to have an alliance. On 6th February 1778, these two countries have signed a new treaties, so which can help each other. This is the French alliance. Next, victory at Yorktown. So in September, Washington attacked Yorktown with a combined force of USA and France. So 19th October, Cornwallis have surrendered. Who is Cornwallis, ma? Cornwallis was a British Governor General. He surrendered and the world turned upside down in the Yorktown in 1781. I told Cornwallis, he was he belongs to aristocratic family and was educated in the Cambridge. He was army man in 1757. His father also army man only, Earl Cornwallis. So they are in the parliament. Upper house. They are the member of the upper house. So they involved in the war. So they have defeated the Yorktown and surrendered the Yorktown. This is about the Cornwallis. Next, I said about the result. Result in the sense they had established the Republican government. They overthrow the colonial power. All are equal before the law. In 1777, Britain Constitution was there. Under the Act, they had a protect for the rights. And Lafayette, he was a British man, but gave the support for the Washington. And he created the Declaration of Rights of Man and Citizen with the help of the Thomas Jefferson. On 27th August 1789, he has worked in the French Revolution as a French national guard to create a rights and citizens for the people. Citizen also the people only, no girls. So they have made rights in 1789. 1789 is very, 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 very important. The French Revolution. Next topic, that only we are going to see. Okay, this is about the American Revolution. Okay, with this we comes to an end for the American Revolution. Next session we will see of the French Revolution. Okay girls, thank you girls.